Welcome to the Unsuccessful Algerian podcast. What are my thoughts on Richard Dawkins' book, The God's Delusion? I do find the book of Richard Dawkins unreadable, especially if you are someone like me with zero knowledge in evolutionary biology. And I felt like reading a textbook about biology more than I felt reading a book about atheism. There were many pages where he spoke about evolution and natural selection, and I don't see where is the link with his atheism. I do think that Richard Dawkins is a great biologist, but not a great theologian. He did not provide strong arguments against the belief in God, and I have watched some atheist YouTubers who did a review of the book, and they admitted that it's not the best book that champions atheism. I have seen many of Richard Dawkins' debates. One of these debates is against the mathematician John Lennox on the topic of God, and in my opinion, he got destroyed by John Lennox. John Lennox made more convincing arguments in favor of the existence of God. One of the problems that I find with people like Richard Dawkins is when they say that reason and scientific materialism are the only basis of knowledge and all truth. I don't think that's the case. I think materialism falls when it comes to the moral questions, and there is no doubt when Richard Dawkins said that there is no morality, no good and evil, and no purpose in this universe. Naturalism and materialism gave a great deal to the scientific revolution. Otherwise, people would still believe that we live in a giant blue eye. But I think that it fails to answer the moral questions. Even some concepts in philosophy, like the mind-body problem and consciousness. Jordan Peterson said that psychologists have no idea what consciousness is, what it's made of, and that he doubts that consciousness is purely materialistic, and it might transcend natural laws. What is a thought? Is it made of matter, or is it a product of a brain activity? Maybe there is something immaterial beneath. How can matter give rise to consciousness? Neil deGrasse Tyson pointed out this problem, and he said something very interesting about consciousness. He said that scientists stopped publishing about Newtonian laws because it's settled, so the fact that we keep publishing about consciousness is the evidence that we know nothing about it. Concerning morality, Sam Harris is one of the few atheists who argue that morality is objective. He said that we have an intuition about what good and evil are and what constitutes an ethical life. I think that is untrue. My intuition works only in multiple choice questions, but not in making ethical decisions. I do believe, though, that morality is objective, and I think the claim that morality is relative is actually dangerous. But one of the few questions that I've been asking myself for a long time is, from where does morality come from? Does religion offer a perfect moral principle? I don't think so. I think religion came to answer the problems of humanity in that moment, like monotheistic religions came to answer the questions of what is good and evil for that current time. It did not come to answer the questions of the 21st century. Can religion tell us whether it's good or evil to use fossil fuels? And that's the reason why I disagree with both religious people and atheists, but having a moral code is better than not having. One of the things that I liked about the book of Richard Dawkins is the Dawkins Scale. He imagined the belief in God as 7 scales, where obviously the first scale is the strong belief in God without any doubt, and the 7th scale is the disbelief in God without any doubt. Obviously, agnosticism is the 4th scale. Dawkins went beyond the claim of simply saying, I believe what I don't believe, and he imagined it as a spectrum. So, if you take 2 atheists, for example, or 2 theists, the way they understand the concept of God is different from one another. Richard Dawkins also spoke about the horrible things people did in the name of religion. Many atheists were rejected by their families just because they no longer believed. But saying that religion is the responsible for all evil that has happened to the world is false. If you take a look at the bloodiest wars throughout history, the First and the Second World War, they had no link with religion. Nietzsche predicted that people can do immoral things when their belief system collapses, and he said, God is dead, and we have killed him. How shall we comfort ourselves, the murder of all murderers? Who will wipe this blood? Okay, that was the end. I hope you did like the video. If you have something to say about the video, or if you have disagreements with what I said, please let me know in the comments below. And please don't forget to subscribe.